Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Tom Stewart here. I'm with Liz Trotter. Our guest today is Mel Kleiman, and this is Smart Business Moves.
Woohoo!
Mel, how are you today?
I'm doing just right. Beautiful weather. Trying to get to Daytona Beach, Florida. Go sit on the beach, enjoy it. Have a presentation to do. What more can I ask for?
Oh,
Nice.
beautiful. What's the weather like down in Daytona? Is it a little chilly down there today?
Well, today is a little chilly down there, but you know what? It's still beautiful. The sun is shining and it's gorgeous, and can't ask for anything more.
It's a beautiful
Nice.
place, for sure. For sure.
Well, you don't know this, Mel, but you are one of our, I would say, top three presenters. Would you
You,
say,
we,
Tom?
Liz didn't know you were the guest today. And I
Yeah.
was like, Liz, we can't be late. Mel is our guest. And she got all excited. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're VIP
Yeah.
on our show. You're not here
We love
often,
everything
but
you say.
Well,
Everything. No, we're super excited that you're here.
you know, there's nobody
yeah.
that is more of an authoritative voice on
That's true.
building a workforce and a culture to hire and retain people. And God knows, in the house cleaning industry, that's one of the more important things, if not the most important thing that we have to do to build successful businesses. And
Yeah.
you're the expert, Mel.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the great compliment, and hope I can give the people who will take the time to listen to this some other great ideas, because it's interesting to note that it's like all of a sudden you've been saying things for years and years and years, and all of a sudden something just hits you, and it's really interesting because I talk about people talk about they want to be great, they want to be a great manager. For example, how do you be a magnetic manager? How do you be a man? People join companies, and the number one reason they leave, interesting enough, if they bought into the company, is they leave because of the manager. And
Mhm.
we talk about being a magnetic manager, and we could probably do a program on that at some point in time. But the interesting thing to note about it is the number one key to starting to be a magnetic manager is like starting to do anything else. You have to decide that you want to.
Oh my gosh. So good.
And I think that revelation to me has been so interesting. And I even have to go differently, because I said decide that you want to, but you have to change the word to decide that you're going to be.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's the key. The first step, if you want to be a great employee, decide you want to be a great employee. If you want to
Hmm.
do a great podcast, decide not that I'm going to do a podcast, decide that I'm going to do I not want to, but I'm going to do a great podcast. And just changing the wording and changing your thinking will begin to change your outcome. And just, we've
Yeah.
probably heard it all along through our lives, but how often do we accept where we are with saying, not deciding I'm going to be better. I'm not, and you may not make the marathon, but you'll get better at going a little further distance if you go a little distance every time.
Okay.
Well, Mel, it's really interesting that you're bringing this up because about a month ago, I started really harping on this idea about deciding that the hardest part is not the doing. The hardest part is the deciding, because we don't want to do it. And so we don't decide to do it. We decide that other people should do it first. We decide that we shouldn't have to do it. We decide that it's not our responsibility. We decide a lot of things, but what we don't decide is I'm just going to be better. I'm just going to be better now. We don't do that. We don't decide that. Oh,
And it's interesting you use the word decide,
yeah.
because another learning, decide comes from the Latin, and
Hmm.
decide means to kill. Isn't that
Ooh,
interesting? So when
yeah.
you decide to do something, you kill all the other options.
Oh,
Nice. I
wow.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Oh,
Isn't it
interesting.
interesting? It's
Yeah.
interesting that
So
how the
homicide.
words we use
I get
affect
it.
what we do and how we do things. That's so interesting. But
It
when you
is.
decide you decide you're going to eat better. Okay. and then we'll get into some other factors about it. But when you decide that you're going to do something, you kill the other options. That's why it's so hard to decide.
Yeah.
There is no plan B. You burn the boats, and that's the direction you're going.
Right.
You do have a lag, Tom.
So that becomes interesting. So that's the new learning.
I love it. I'm excited about the new stuff that you're
Good.
doing. I can't wait for you to talk to us all about it. Hey, Denise. Long time no see, Denise.
So that's the point you look at. And so we need to decide, especially in the business we're in, we need to decide that we're going to be 5-star employers. We need to make that decision that we're going to be better than anybody else to work for.
Nice.
Okay.
Agreed. So what kind of advice do you have for us along this idea, Mel? Because people struggle. They want really good employees. What do they need to decide to do? Do they need to decide to hire better or what?
Well, first of all, you need to decide to hire better, because another piece of new learning is that a little over 50% of what we do is habit. Okay, we eat the way we do because it's habit. We get up in the morning at the time we get up because it's habit. And the habit is the natural way that we tend to move because it's something we're comfortable with. And so we've got to look at the habit that we're looking at, and we got to begin to look at, okay, how do we change the habit? It's like, and it's just making a decision first, and then it's saying, okay, I'm going to take one small step. What is the small step? Okay, so let's assume we make the step that we want to become a 5-star employer. That's the key. Okay.
Yeah.
And why do you want to become a 5-star employer? First of all, let's look at all the reasons to become a 5-star employer. The number one reason to be a 5-star employer is because then all-star employees want to work for you. I actually have a maid company that I'm working with that we just certified as a 5-star employer, and I got to tell you, they know why they're in business. They're in their position. What is their position? Why are you in the maid business? Are you in the maid business to make money? Of course, all we are. We think that is. But what's your real proposition? And their proposition, as you look at it, is to make life better for our customers, our employees, and the community. That's why they're in business.
Nice.
How many of us have a purpose statement that says this is why we're in business? What's our purpose? It's like my purpose in business is to help companies hire better so employees and companies have better lives. Have you got a purpose statement? Why are you in business? Okay. And then what do you do to live up to your statement? That's the key. And do you conquer the power of recognition? Do you recognize, the number one key motivator that we could go back into is recognition. Being recognized as a 5-star employer means you say to your employees, hey, I need your help because I want to be a 5-star employer. What do we have to do to make this place a 5-star employer? How many have ever asked your employees that? Go to your best people and say to your best people, look, I want to be, whether you want to be certified as a 5-star employer or whether you just want to be a 5-star employer as a company, how many of you would go to your people, your best people? I go to Liz and I say, Liz, look, we need more people like you. The people like you make this a great business. I need to know what gets you to come to work every day. What keeps you excited? Why do you do the great job you always do for our customers? We're just role playing right here, Liz. How did that make you feel?
I love it. Absolutely. I'm gonna tell you too. I love working here because of all the reasons that I'm gonna tell you. You asked me that question. Yeah, I feel good. I want to stay here. I love working here.
How much better would the other people listening to this if they just had that conversation, and what they just did is they recognized that person as being a vital part of their company. Gallup polls, and I think we all know Gallup poll. Gallup poll talks about the fact that better than almost 65% of all employees are unengaged. Okay,
Right.
they're unengaged or they're totally disengaged. Only about 35% of employees are totally engaged. It's interesting. They did another study that says 67%. Listen to this number, real study, not trying to sell you anything. Gallup wasn't trying to sell anything, but they were looking at engagement of employees because they do their engagement study. And they found out that 67% also of all employees in the US today said they received no recognition at work within the last year. Zero. And if they got it, it was for doing something wrong.
How terrible is that, right? And that number is so huge. What the heck?
So, and the number one key is we're all recognition addicted. We're little kids in big kids' bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I for years I've told the story of my grandson was in the other room building with something with blocks, and I was in my office at home, and he has, Pop, come look at this. I built something neat. And I was doing something, and I said, Cole, I'll be there in a minute. Let me finish up. And I keep doing something, and about 30 seconds later, I hear, Pop, come look at this now. And I said, Cole, take it easy. I'll be there in a minute. And all of a sudden, guess what I hear? I hear a crash.
Oh.
Why?
What happened?
Because there's three kinds of recognition. Positive recognition, negative recognition, or no recognition at all.
Apathy.
What are you giving your best employees?
Yeah.
No recognition at all, probably.
Or if they're really good, what do you do? If they're really good, what do you do?
You give them a gift card.
I need somebody to take it. I know, you know what? I'm not going to give it to you because you're not, you know what? You'll complain. Liz just does it. So what do I say? I say, Liz, hey, I need your help. I've got this extra project. Do you mind working late tonight? Because she'll always do it.
Yeah.
You give your best
And one day
employees more
Liz
work.
quits. Why does she quit?
And the worst work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got the worst customers.
Best people, you burn them out.
Yeah, burn them up. Yeah.
Hey, Mel, we have a question from our audience. The question is, how can you be certified as a 5-star employer? Is that a program that other cleaning companies can participate and become certified?
If you're interested in being there's two ways. You can drop me an email, or you can go to 5staremployer.com on the web, and there's a site that talks about how being certified. And literally, it costs you nothing to apply. But think about it. If you were a certified employer, think about getting your people to help you be certified, number one, or just going through the action makes you a winner because you talk to them and say, I need your help, and you recognize them and everything else. If you decide, if they become certified, what they ask you, I'll come back to that in a minute. But if you're certified, especially in the maid service, what happens when you go to recruit and this separates you from all your competition? You say certified 5-star employer. But more importantly, what does it say to your customers? It's harnessing the power of recognition. And that's the key part about it. Harnessing that power of recognition. But the point being is just doing it and taking the action is worth the whole. It costs you nothing to apply. That's it. So.
Oh, there we go.
Is this the website, Mel?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Okay. I'll drop the link in chat. Here you go, Denise.
And the process really simply is the number one. Okay, so let's start with how do you know if you're a 5-star employer? It isn't anybody else's criteria. Like if you go for best place to work or great place to work or whatever, all those contests, what they're trying to say is, do you meet our criteria to be the best place to work?
Yeah. Agreed. We lost Mel.
Kevin's in the audience today. Hey, Kevin, how are you, ma'am? It's been a while.
Hey, Kevin. Well, you know what? I think I know where he's going here, and I'm kind of excited. He's right, right? All of these different places that you can apply to. It's like they decide what the criteria is, and then they determine whether or not you're going to be a 5-star employer. But I have a feeling that what Mel is going to tell us is that you're going to be certified a 5-star employer by your employees and by
Yeah.
what your employees determine is important, right? Hey, Denise.
Ultimately, they're the ones that would be deciding that, aren't they?
Yeah, regardless of what any outside third party body says, if your employees don't say you are a 5-star employer, guess what? You're not. Don't care what anybody else says. So I'm really, I hope Mel can make it back on here because I'm really intrigued. Gosh, we could also get Kevin on here.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, you ready to take a link?
Kevin,
Well,
stand by.
yeah. Well, the real only reason I really even say that is because Kevin is right on board with all of these same ideas as well, right?
Yeah, he's been a guest a few times before, and done a lot of work with Kevin over the years, and this is right in his wheelhouse.
Yeah. So blow that up for us just a little bit, Tom. Let's see if we can see what it says. Our signature process. That's what I want to read or see right there. Can you blow it up?
I can.
Oh, top people it works best when employees are involved in the certification application, which in turn drives loyalty, retention. All right. So it does sound like there's an outside process, but they engage your employees for your best results. And obviously that turns them into more loyal, more engaged employees. So, all right. Well, I love this. I mean, I'm going to love everything that he has to say, but you did notice, Tom, that the very first thing out of his mouth was, you got to make your people feel like they matter. Right? That they are important and that they matter to your company. So, anybody starts talking the matter, meaning, measure, autonomy, language, and I'm already on board. They don't have to say a whole heck of a lot more. So
Yeah, and like, what was the number? Or 67% of employees say that they've received no recognition over the last 12 months.
None. I have a really good story about this though, Tom. I love this story. So we had an employee. So during our regular evaluations, I think this was for a one-on-one, and for a one-on-one, a little form goes out to the employee, like a little job form. And one of the questions it says is, did you receive positive recognition in the last week? And this form came back, and this was from me, and this was supposedly from Liz. Mm-hmm. Or I think it was like maybe in the last month, and it was from Liz. And on a scale of 1 to 5, how much did you get? And she gave a 1, right? And the rating was a 1, the lowest possible rating. And I was like, what the heck? And I had, in my mind, I had a ton of examples of times that I had given her recognition, right? And I had like 3 right off the top of my head. So she comes in with this form, or she didn't have a form. It was a job form. She comes in, we pull it up. We're looking at this. And I said, so Carol, like, I don't even understand what you're talking about here. What about over the last month? Remember when I did this? And remember when I did this? And remember when I did this? And she was like, oh, yeah, I forgot, Liz. Let me change that. I'm going to turn that to a 5. And I was like, oh my gosh. What's worse, y'all? Somebody giving you a 5 because you convinced them that it's a 5, or a 1?
So what's the takeaway? I mean,
yeah. So the big takeaway for me in this story was, you can think you're doing all the stuff, But if it's not landing for your people, guess what? You're not doing it. She's going to give me a 5, but did I have a 5? No. Did I really earn that 5 from her? No. Were those 3 things the impactful things? No, they weren't. And you know what kind of things they were? You know, Tom. I gave her a gift card. Didn't matter. Wasn't important to her. Didn't, right? So it was all stuff that didn't matter to her.
Were you able to like figure out what would matter to her?
Do you have any guesses of what that might be, Tom? Those things might be?
I don't know. I like gift cards.
Yeah.
You know?
She did. She loves gift cards too. But at the end of the month, did she remember that gift card? Did she feel like she was recognized by that gift card? She did not. No.
Okay. Maybe recognize her in front of the team. Give her a little more.
She didn't. She's kind of a shy gal, which is why I don't really recognize her in front of people a lot. But she just felt like I didn't really talk to her about anything. Like before, in her mind, she was like, usually you have a lot more time, Liz, but lately you just haven't had a lot of time.
They wanted you. Okay. Okay. It wasn't about the gift card. It was about giving her more of you.
Matter.
Yeah.
Right? She didn't feel like she mattered. She wasn't getting it. And so that was like I think that's a really awesome lesson in how we think we know what people want.
Mel's back. Are you still there?
Hey, Mel.
Are we still here?
Are we still here? You're fun, Mel.
I'm here.
I
apologize for all of this. What have I missed?
Oh, we were just talking about making your workforce matter and how to recognize people in a way that means something to them. Mel, are you watching the live stream on your phone?
Mel, are you watching the live stream on your phone?
Yeah.
You might want to close that because we're getting a feedback loop off of that.
People.
Might want to close that because we're getting a feedback loop off of that.
Okay. Let me hold on 1 second. Let's try something.
I think we're good now. Yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, sound fine.
Denise mentions giving people a day off as a way of recognition. In your case, though, Liz, when you were talking about your team member that didn't feel like she was being recognized, that might not even do it either. She wants you to spend some time with her. She wants you to talk to her.
She did. She wanted to feel like she was important to me. And she wanted to feel like she was making a difference and that she mattered in the company. And she wasn't getting that. Oh, you like my fur coat? It's not fur. You'll see it when we're at Foundations, Denise. That's really what she wanted was she wanted to matter and to make a difference and to really, she wanted to be important, which it goes to what Mel was saying, right? You ask people, hey, we want more people that are amazing like you. Why do you show up, right? What makes you come to work every day and be so amazing?
So
I think we kind of darn.
Doggone it.
Poor Mel. Nobody knows how bad it feels to be having tech difficulties more than I do. That's tough.
It happens, though.
And it does. It does happen. Yeah. Let's see. I'm sad that we don't have Mel. I really wanted to see his stuff. Tom, why don't you just really quickly take us through his website that he had up there? What else is on there? Are you a 5-star employee? Oh, so, okay, real quick here. We got a few people on here. Who do we have? We've got Linda. We've got Denise. We have Denise. We have Kevin. All right, y'all. Tell us, type in there. On a scale of 1 to 5, are you a 5-star employee? Are you 5-star? Give us a 5. If you're 4, 3, 2, tell us what you are. Go on. All right, Mel, we're doing a survey for you.
That's a great question.
All right, Mel, we're doing a survey for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Denise
So,
thinks she's 4.
You were also
Linda
making a
says
comment
5.
a minute ago about recognition that I happened to hear.
Denise thinks she's 4. Linda says 5.
Yes.
We're hearing like a feedback loop about 3 seconds after we say something. It's
We're
coming
hearing
back
like a
again.
feedback loop about 3 seconds after we say something. It's coming back again.
I'm not sure what's causing that.
Am I still in the feedback loop?
Yeah.
Not sure what's causing that.
Denise, high five to you. I love that. You think you're a 4-star, but your employees would say a 2. That's awesome. Yay for you. Denise, high five to you. I love that. You think you're a 4-star, but your employees would say a 2. That's awesome. Yay for you. That's kind of how it happens, right? That's that's the example. Like I was saying with my employee Carol.
Overcome, it looks like.
That's kind of how it happens, right? That's that's the
Yeah.
example. Like I was saying with my employee Carol.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure what the solution is here. There's
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, we do. Can you hear us okay?
I'm not sure what the solution is.
But the lag is like
There's
5
longer.
to 10 seconds now.
We do. Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
But the lag is like 5 to 10 seconds.
If that's what happens in Echo, then I'm not enough. Denise, funny. If that's what happens in Echo, then I'm not enough. Oh, it's too bad.
Singing with employees is really great because you know what? One of the things that makes you a 5-star is being a fun place to work. Do you have fun? Do you look for reasons to celebrate? You know, those are the things that, you know, make your people want to come to work for you or make them come back every single day. Is it fun? You know, do you recognize them? Do you, do you give them a chance to grow? I think I have another maid service that I happen to work with, and it's interesting. They're a 5-star employer from is they've developed a very strong relationship with a women's shelter.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
And they help to take those women who have been in those abuse situations, etc., and they help build their self-esteem again. And it's been a win-win for everybody. Yeah. It's things like that make you a 5-star employer. Yeah. Find out the people who help you and you help them. You know, it's like if one of the keys that I know somebody's a 5-star employer, ask the question, what percentage of your employees come from referral from your other employees?
Okay.
If 35% of your employees or more are coming from referral from your present employees, that means you've got to be a winner because they're voting. They're telling their friends that, hey, this is a 5-star place to work.
Nice.
So they're voting they're voting.
Nice.
It means are you looking at building a method for them to give you referrals? You know, you can look at a methodology for them to give you referrals. Do you have a methodology that lets them give you referrals? Do you pay for referrals, for example? It doesn't have to be big, but it's saying thank you. It's when somebody refers. Let's assume you have a referral bonus program, and let's make it $50. Is a great employee worth $50 to you? I think we know the answer. If I was to refer a great employee to you for $50, you'd give me $50. Well, why would you not have a referral bonus program. Maybe it's $50, maybe it's something else. I'll give you another idea in a minute. But I hire Liz, and I say, and Tom recommended you. And the day you come to work, I say, everybody I want to do is everybody to Liz. And Liz was brought to us by Tom. So we know she's going to be terrific. Otherwise, he wouldn't have recommended her. What did I just do? I raised the bar. I've set the expectation for her, and I paid a compliment to Tom. Everybody's a winner. And by the way, Tom, for bringing us Liz, what do you get? And let's just say you get $50. Well, hold out your hand and count out 10 brand new $5 bill, $10 bills, okay? And you got some recognition. Or even better than that, have some fun. I have one customer who we work with, and they have a wall with balloons on it, and you get a dart, and you throw a dart, and whatever in that balloon you get, it's fun. I have another recommendation. You get envelopes, and Tom recommended Liz, and he gets to pick an envelope, and whatever in that envelope, he wins. Now the neat secret to that is, I know what Tom needs, and guess what's in all 5 envelopes?
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
But we had some fun giving the reward, and everybody's had a good time doing it, and that's a winner. It's little things like that that make the difference and make you that place where all-star employees want to work. You know, harness this power of recognition. There's another tool I think I even talked about the last time I did this podcast with you. But one of the tools we developed, and if somebody sends me an email, I'll send it to you, is an employee data sheet. And if I said to you, how many of you can tell me every one of your employees' favorite candy bar? How many can tell me their favorite snack food? How many can tell you their favorite drink? How many can tell you what charities, if they had a charity they support? How many can tell you what they like to do for fun? How many can tell you what they do on weekends? How many of you can tell us if they have kids, what are their kids involved in? How many? So what we did, and we added one just a couple months ago based on somebody. If they have a pet, what's their favorite? Do they have a pet? And tell us about your pet. Okay, so why not have a new employee fill out the data sheet? And if we said if we were to give you a gift for $25, what would you like to have? Or what's your favorite restaurant? You know what most of your a lot of your employees' favorite restaurants are?
What's
I'll tell
that?
you what a lot of the favorite restaurants.
What's that?
Applebee's.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why Applebee's come up. Let me give you another one that came out interesting enough. As I'm talking about it, I keep remembering these things. But one of them says, what's your favorite radio station? And what they found out was, and this was not in maid service, this happened to be in home health care. What they found out was a lot of their
Oh, darn. Lost him again.
Doggone it.
I know. I feel like as long as we're not talking, that it works because the lag doesn't really show up, right? As long as he's talking.
The lag is major, though.
Yeah, it's major. But as long as we don't say anything, you don't notice it.
Right.
It's not noticeable. Yeah.
And,
Well,
it's hard not saying anything, though.
It is really, really hard. So I have, based on that questionnaire thing, this is something a new idea that's come kind of out of our circles here, but a lot of people are having success with that I think is an awesome idea. And take that survey that everybody's doing those now, right? Find out everybody's favorite stuff.
Right.
But instead of doing that survey after you hire them, send them 3 questions, like from that survey. What kind of pet do they have? Anything, 3 of the things. What's your favorite snack food, whatever. And put that as part of your interview process. Send that question to them in advance as part of their application. Now that shows that you are a different kind of employer because you actually care about me, right? As a person. And that is that is getting a little bit different result for people. One of the things that I noticed is, and Mel is speaking to this, well, when he comes back, I'm sure he'll speak more to it, but he's speaking to it really well, is that it's not the big things, right? It's all of these little tiny things. It's people aren't staying at your company because you are like having them throw a dart at a balloon to get money. That's not it. It's not the dart at the balloon on the board. It's the recognition of, you've done this thing that matters to our company, that's really important to us, and you've made it important to you, so that makes you important. And now you've brought on another person who's very valuable to us. So it's a whole big
it's like an example or a manifestation of a culture, as opposed to just a thing. Okay, we threw the dart, great. I'm a great employer now. I'm a 5-star employer. No,
no.
no.
It's not. Oh, here it comes.
Maybe. Here we go.
Well, I
Hey, Mel.
apologize for all of these wonderful opportunities today. How do I make it
that's
up to
okay.
you
Sometimes this happens.
in your
That's
audience?
okay. Sometimes this happens.
So let me know how we can make it up to you, because I feel very sorry about what's happening.
Oh, yeah. We'll get you back on at another time.
At another time.
Okay.
You can, if Liz and I are quiet and you can talk, we can do this for a while if you don't mind us just nodding our head from time to time and maybe giving you a thumbs up.
Just nodding head from time to time and maybe giving you a thumbs up.
Well, it was a problem. It was a problem with everything get piled into one time, and I did plan to be someplace else, and everything fell apart. And I apologize for it. I hate to see that happen.
That's okay.
This is not the worst thing that's happened to us, Mel.
I don't know if you're going to use this one or
far from it.
This is not the worst thing that's happened to us, Mel.
Okay.
Far from it.
Okay, so let's end it for today if we can.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mel.
Well,
you take care,
thank you, Mel.
and we'll have you on again real soon. Okay.
You take care, and we'll have you on again real soon. Okay.
Okay. Let me know, and we'll make sure that we have no conflicts about it. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Take care, Mel.
Thanks, Mel. Well, that's just sad that was a bust, because he always brings the gold.
Love Mel.
I know, me too.
But I'm really excited about learning about being a 5-star employer, because this looks really cool.
It does.
So just in the menu here, the process, he's got 5-star criteria, the application process, and the acceptance. Let's see what the criteria is. All right.
Okay.
Is this big enough? Can we read this? Or?
I can, but my screen is 50-inch, so.
Yeah, okay. How about this?
That's looking good.
Okay. So what do we say here? What makes a 5-star employer? How do they attract and retain all-star employees? The following are many of the traits 5-star employers have in common, but by no means all of them. If your organization is 5-star for reasons not listed here, feel free to include them in your application. Cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, he talked about this one. That makes perfect sense to me.
The referrals, 35% of employees come from referrals.
Yeah. That makes sense. People aren't referring their friends and relatives to a crappy company.
Okay.
Right? If they think you're good enough, then they're going to refer you.
I've had some employees say that, you wouldn't want any of my friends to work here.
Well, I have heard that too, but I always wonder that, like, what are you like when you're not at work? Because you're amazing at work.
Those are questions best not ask.
Yeah, not talk about it.
Okay,
right.
low turnover. Turnover rate is 20% or more lower than the industry average.
Okay. Only 20% seems low to me. Like 20% low seems like you could be an okay employer and have 20% lower than the industry average.
Well, maybe that's just kind of the threshold, and you still have to check all the other boxes too. If you check
Yeah.
all the other boxes and they're 20% lower, maybe that
That makes sense.
works.
Yeah, it's just 1 point. Okay, well, Denise is happy. She said just chatting that little bit with Mel was super helpful and great timing for her. So that's great. Glad to hear that, Denise. I see you over there making notes, Tom, instead of scrolling. Let's see. Hiring. We make it hard to get a job with our organization. All managers involved in the hiring process have had interview training. We have learned to fail fast. Oh, I love that. I've always loved the learn to fail fast thing, right? Get them out quickly. Love that. And that's interesting. That's not something that we hear a lot about, Tom. I haven't heard very many people talk about this at all, that all of the managers have had interview training. How many people do you know that have their managers go through interview training? Not me.
How do you do? I mean, I guess that would be something that you would develop in-house. I'm trying to think of some standardized. That's a product you need to develop, Liz, and offer that to the industry.
Well, actually, Tom, we have that in foundations. Remember, we have the training on so that you set up your interviews, you have the set question, the answers that are scored, and then you just fill it in. So we actually have this, but how many people do you know, how many companies do this?
The whole behavioral interview technique.
Yeah. And then actually train their people to interview.
If it were more like in an LMS or something where it could be delivered on a regular basis, we go over that in foundations with the expectation, I guess, that the foundations participant would then go back and implement that. And I think they use it themselves, but do they train the people that are actually doing the interviews with it, I guess, is the question.
That's what I'm thinking is missing. And I think a lot of that is on us also, Tom. We should be doing a better job with that because we know that the majority of the time, the people that are coming and going through foundations, they don't have a lot of, managers in place at that point in time. And so we're not teaching them that piece. We need to for Foundations 12 since it's in 5 days or something.
Right. So we'll get that right next week.
Yeah, 13, y'all. Foundations 13. Well, we'll
actually, we'll get it in 12. I mean, we'll point that out next week.
Well, yeah, but we can point it out, but we can't teach them how to do it. Not with their managers.
Okay.
We'll have the conversation at 12.
Maybe we could do like a webinar or something afterwards.
Yeah, actually, maybe that's a great idea. Well, maybe we could have like this cool guy Mel on.
Yeah.
You can talk about it. All right. What's the next one? Employee commitment. I can't see it because we got.
Okay, well, I'm getting there. All of our employees know what it takes to succeed in their job and are rewarded accordingly. This is kind of like the Gallup F12 in some regard. I think that's
Q12.
Q12.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's y'all, you have to forgive us. Foundations is just right around the corner, and that's all that's on our mind right now. It's foundations.
And we've been working hard for weeks getting ready for this.
Weeks, Tom. Months over here.
Months. Well,
months.
Well, a lot of weeks turn into months.
That's true. Good point. Yeah.
Well, if you want to get right down to it, probably 10 years.
Yeah. All right. Good point. Yeah, I'll give you that. All right. So I like this one. I think that we have all, or at least you and I have both agreed that this is really important, right? We've seen this in the Q12. We understand why it's important. This has a lot to do with training, right? You're never gonna convince us that people don't need to be trained in their jobs and their positions, and that part of their training is that they know what it takes to succeed. All my life, I'm working on foundations. So Linda's also working on foundations. Okay. Sorry, Linda.
Much appreciated, Linda. Thank you.
Much Much appreciated. We got Denise on here too. She's also working on foundations. So, yeah, it's a foundations kind of a week here.
Kevin pointing out the behavior-based interviewing. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to be interviewing just based on a gut feeling. No.
Yes.
We'll be seeing you next week. So Linda and Denise will be here next week, right?
No, Linda won't be here until 2.0. She'll be here the following week for 2.0.
Oh, okay.
But Denise doing 12 and Linda's doing 2.0.
Okay. They're not here for 2 weeks.
No, nobody's
Slackers.
Here. Yeah, slackers. Yeah, y'all. Like us. Okay, let's see what's this next
Check
one?
this out. I think there's a tie you mentioned about training that gets into compensation and benefits. We pay above industry standards and provide above industry benefits. We both agree that's a good thing. That's important. And if you can train people to help them create more value and be more valuable, it's really easy to pay them more than the industry average because they're worth more than the industry average. They're creating more value than the industry average. So again, all of that ties back into training.
Which is the very next one. I really like the idea of continual training too. I like cross training too. Yeah, I like all of this. I gotta say, I love continuous training. I do feel like this can take a back seat a lot of times in companies, especially when you have someone that is doing a really good job, right? They get good scorecards, and sometimes you just don't even think to give continuous training, but there's always stuff that's available for training. New surfaces, new things to clean, new products that are out there. There's new, what do I want to say? Customer service techniques that you need to employ because our customer needs and requirements change and what they expect from us changes. So we have to teach that stuff. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for continual training that doesn't pop up for people.
And it's interesting that it says offer. And from a cross-training standpoint, I've had some people say that, I like the job that I'm in, really have no interest in learning anybody else's job.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in that case, if they're really good at the job that they're in and they really like the job that they're in, if it's not broke, don't fix it. You wouldn't necessarily mandate, well, you're going to have to learn how to answer the phone whether you want to or not. I mean, you wouldn't, give them an opportunity. And if they don't want to learn somebody else's job, just let them be awesome at the job that they're in.
That's a super good point, Tom. I like your point, especially because I think that sometimes people do mandate, sorry, you have to do this whether you like it or not. You're going to have to. And I like the idea of honing in on the word offer as kind of the sticking point there.
This is interesting. Boomerang employees who have left us and come back.
You know what I'd like here? I'd like a percentage. Everybody has boomerang employees. Everybody. I've never seen a company that didn't have boomerang employees. But what percentage? What percentage of your people come back to you? I think that would be an amazing number, similar to the 35% from above.
Well,
I don't know exactly how we'd measure it. MaidCentral, can you guys figure that out for us?
sure.
Yeah.
And and not every employee who leaves would
You want
necessarily be invited back.
No. I do think that it would be awesome if we had a way to track the people who were available for rehire. They came back though. That'd be cool. Not a core KPI by any means in my mind, but I don't know. It looks like to be a 5-star employer, maybe it is. Maybe it should be.
Kevin's got a suggestion here, and this goes back to I guess the training and cross training using the best cleaning technicians, best cleaning professionals to train the best practices of the field.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Yeah.
It sounds like a way of recognizing people as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I think that's the bigger piece. The recognition factor is the biggest piece of that. Absolutely. Love that. And we also have that continuous learning for the people in the field. Because I've cleaned in the field. Tom, you've never actually cleaned in the field. But I remember when I cleaned in the field, and it's not that you really forget stuff. It just becomes less important because you get into this rhythm. Similar to what Mel was saying also about the habits, right? You are habitually cleaning in certain ways, and some stuff just falls off your radar. So I like this idea of having those great cleaner train on some best practices. I think it's cool. Mm-hmm.
Promote from within. Always look to promote from within before looking outside to fill a position. I mean, that's a good practice.
Especially because it says we look to promote before. It doesn't say that we don't ever fill from outside. Just as we look to fill from inside first. I like that.
And you can maybe tie that back into like the interview process as well in the hiring. When you're hiring people, be looking for people who have, skills and the ability to grow into other jobs in the organization. It's sometimes I see that as a missed opportunity.
Well, you're actually really good at this. I've seen you do this for years at Castle Keepers. You honing in on different things that people do well and seeing other uses for them. You do that. You do it with MaidCentral too. I've seen you move people around based on what they do well and different talents that they have. It seems like this is something that comes naturally to you.
Looking for opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a light switch where, this person's not, good for this job, not good for this job. It doesn't, what can they be good at? What are they good at? And being a little bit flexible with job descriptions. We create jobs for people at times, just move activities around to get the best out of the players you have, so to speak.
Yeah.
Vision and mission. We have a clear vision and mission statement, and every employee knows what it is.
So I have to hammer on this one just a little bit because I don't think it's enough that people can recite your vision and your mission statements. I know a lot of companies where people can say it, but they don't actually live it. It's not enough to just know it. You have to be living it. You have to know how to bring them to life, right? What are the things that you're doing that show that you're following the vision and the mission? I think that is a big piece of that. It's not enough to just recite it. And I'm speaking for my company, especially. Back in the day, we had, I don't know, at one point in time, I think we had like 36 employees or something, and they could all recite everything backward and forward. But would I have said that they were all living it? No.
Right. That's a really good point. It's being able to recite it and knowing it is necessary but not sufficient,
Not
as
sufficient.
they say. You need to be able to find examples of it, and where is this living within an organization?
Yeah.
And every employee, I guess, if at the highest level, if you're getting it right at all levels, would be able to give you examples of, and you'd be able to find it in other people. Here's an example of where, somebody, is embracing and living and exhibiting, one of our core values or our mission and vision.
Yeah. I love what Kevin says here too. That can be part of the best practice training. Yes, absolutely. Because adding on the training to it makes it a whole different thing, right?
Mhm.
And also, if one of the employees is the one that is doing that training, it's received in a way different way than when it's coming from on high, right? Like, memorize this information, you have to know this information, blah blah blah. Okay, I know it. I can pay lip service to it, but when it's coming to people from their peers or what they perceive as their peers, I feel like it's a different situation altogether.
Mhm.
So, Tom, I know we have quite a few more on here. Can you scroll down? About how many more? I want to hit on safety for sure. Wow, there's a lot of them. I
Okay, but
can't
we're
wait
gonna have to
to
go.
read them.
We're getting kind of tight on time, so
I can't. I actually have an interview that I have to do at 3:00, Tom, so I can't. But I do want to hit on safety.
no, we're gonna be done at the top of the hour here, which gives
Yeah.
us 2 minutes. Safety is important for many reasons. Recognition, accountability, employee investment, significant ongoing investment in all your employees, regardless of their position. So I guess that's time and treasure, respect, diversity, family friendly, community involvement. Whoops, fun,
Stuff there.
open door policy, high expectation, especially
Yes, one of my
people,
favorites.
top management, open communication, dynamic minded. Wow,
A lot of these are my
pretty
favorites.
cool. So the link is in chat, 5staremployer.com. Check this out. This is something that we could probably all benefit by spending a little more time with and possibly implementing within our businesses. We are at the top of the hour. We're not going to be here next week. We're
Or
going to
the
be
next
doing
week,
F12.
2
We're not
weeks.
going to be here the week after because we're doing F2.0.
Y'all are going to miss us. We're not going to be back until April 3rd. I mean, no, April 5th.
Is that right?
Yeah.
April 5th. My
April
gosh.
5th. So we're going to miss both of our birthdays. We're going to miss St. Patrick's Day.
We're going to be another year older by then.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm so excited. All right, y'all. Thanks, everybody. Looking forward to seeing everybody at Foundations, also 2.0. And I'm off to do that interview.
Okay. Thanks, folks. We'll see you
Bye,
in a few
y'all.
weeks. Bye-bye.